Hi, friends, and welcome to Costuming in Color, a YouTube show dedicated to amazing costumers of color and those that support them.
I'm Gigi, a cultural history buff, historical costumer, and dabbleist.
And I'm Noelle, a costumer who likes to play both sides of the cosplay and historical world.
Today, we are interviewing Nikkileeam. Welcome to the show, Nikki.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. That's awesome. But first, some house rules. The first rule of Costuming in Color is that you tell everyone about Costuming in Color.
Right on. And this way, even if you don't have costumers of color in your local group, you can get to know some in our global community.
The second rule is that kindness matters. Aside from that, there are no rules. So let's get into it. Nikki, where are you from and do you still live there?
I was born and raised in a little town called Tilburg in the Netherlands. But I don't live there anymore now. I now moved upriver, as we say it, to like in the middle of the country, in a little town village called Marsha. But yeah, it's quite central, so we can go anywhere we want.
So for us Americans who may or may not know where the Netherlands is, can you describe where the Netherlands is?
So the Netherlands is in Europe. You have we basically sandwiched between Germany and England. So England is an island, and then you have water, and then you have the Netherlands, and then you have Germany. And then we have Belgium below, France below, a little bit of Italian somewhere, Spain below. But yeah, I think we're quite central in Europe.
Well, you're on the coast. I think central in Europe is like landlocked countries. Obviously the Netherlands on the coast because they have all those beautiful dikes and the canals.
Yeah, but you're an Anglophile, so if you count the UK, they are kind of central, right?
The UK doesn't count themselves, so I don't count them either.
Well, Brexit and stuff.
Yeah, screw them. They went off. That's their own problem. Hi, UK viewers. What's up? I am actually an Anglophile.
She is. So our next question is about where you live. So tell us what your favorite thing about the Netherlands are.
Well, I think I've sort of touched on it in the previous question, but our country is quite small. I think some of your American states are bigger than our whole country is. But that also means that we can get around pretty fast. So we can cross the border in like an hour and a half or so. So yeah, traveling is quite cool when you live here, because I think, yeah, in five hours here in Paris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was calculating at one time and you could fit 5 of the Netherlands in California.
There you go. It's that small.
Yeah. We have tiny states though too. We have teeny tiny ones.
Yeah. I was more like taking the average
yeah.
of a state.
What is your Instagram handle and why did you choose it?
My Instagram is at Nikkileeam. Unfortunately, Liam was already taken, so I added the Nikki for it in front of it. But Liam is a name I started using when I started working, when I had to register for, what's it called? When you're self-employment, like company name. So I use it as a company name, but I just kept it for everything on the interwebs. Liam is basically my last name, but written down phonetically when pronounced in English. So my last name is Leam, which is spelled L-I-E-M.
How many languages do you speak?
2 fluently, which is Dutch and English. A little bit of France, Jesus. And a little bit of German, but German and Dutch are quite similar. So
yeah. You're translating to English in your brain right now?
Weirdly enough, no.
Oh, you think in English?
I think in English, yeah. Even when my partner and I, it's just between us. He's Dutch as well. We talk English and Dutch and sometimes German and French, like mid-sentence switching stuff up.
Yeah, that's cool.
That
very
is
cool.
true fluency. And that is something I probably will never get for Italian just because I'm not immersed in it enough. And I have to go so far to get to a place where I can be immersed in it. But I'm very envious of that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I don't even really think in English fluently. I think in pictures.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I can express myself better in the English language than in the Dutch language.
Wow.
Yeah, even though I still have, but I think I have that even in Dutch, sometimes interpreting things or taking things literally or not. Yeah.
What language do you dream in?
English.
Wow. That's cool. That's really cool. I didn't know that.
I'm weird.
That isn't weird. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
So I'm curious how the costuming scene is where you live. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I think it's mainly fantasy. We have these 3 big events here in the Netherlands that are fantasy based. So everything's welcome from fantasy, cosplay, historical. But I think the overall majority is people dressed in fantasy. And then there are just like tiny side group, like people events or that do historical and stuff.
Wow. I did not get that impression at all. That's actually awesome. Cool. Yeah, I got it's everything's historical all the time because you guys have historical sites and whatever. And yeah.
If you cross the border, yes. But in the Netherlands specifically, it's as far as according to my own experience. I mean, I'm not saying that this is the absolute truth or the way it is, but to my experience, I think the fantasy scene is the biggest one.
Wow, that's cool. I want to go to a fantasy ball in the Netherlands. That sounds like fun.
I don't think we have a fantasy ball. They're more like big rent fairs.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah. Okay.
But no, bowls are, those are historical, but we don't have many here in the Netherlands. Except for Regency. Regency is pretty big here.
Regency is easy. It does Regency because it's super easy.
Yeah.
All right. So cosplay, historical, or both?
Historical.
Since you do historical, tell us what time period or place is your favorite.
I think in general, the 19th century, with the exception of Regency, because I absolutely loathe the Regency time period because of the female silhouette. And then specifically the 1830s, with a close second with the 1890s. I love big sleeves.
These are the exact periods that I'm like, no, too.
I know you don't like the big sleeves, no. I'm the opposite of you.
Like my arms are big enough.
That's what you can hide your big arms in even bigger sleeves.
There is a point to that. So, since I know you do some cosplay, what type of characters do you gravitate towards?
Mostly, I think I've only done movie characters. Mostly movie characters. But the last couple of years, I'm more gravitating towards characters that have similar ethnicity as I have, like Rose Tico from Star Wars, or Fennec Shan, also in Star Wars. Raya from Raya the Last Dragon, Mulan. Those are sort of cosplays that are either already done or I still want to do.
How did you get your start in the costuming scene?
I honestly don't know. I think I've always, from a young age, I was interested in costumes. And I guess from the moment I've learned, I started sewing costumes. But there was not like a clear moment when that happened. Not that I'm aware of.
I kind of wonder if actually that's the most common thing and people reach for an answer and they you know what I mean? Like they're not making that up, but like it's not as specific as it sounds a lot of times for people.
Yeah. It's not like you woke up one day, it's like, I'm gonna make costumes.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So what keeps you in the costuming community?
The friendships I've gained and the possible friendships I'm able to gain more. Is that a sentence? Yeah. That.
What would you like to see improve in the costuming community?
Kindness, respect, and awareness. I think, yeah.
Do you want to say more about that?
I think it's more like in the broader sense, awareness of not a specific thing, but that we're all different and we all have different needs or different experiences. And by being aware of that, you're automatically already being kinder and taking other people's experience into consideration, I suppose.
Yeah, totally. 100%. What is your favorite completed project?
It's usually my most recent one. I think at the moment it's either my historical Milan or my green woolen bustle dress, which I don't think I've shared pictures of yet.
So yesterday, filming time, there's a person on the internet that's asking, what is your dream dress? And I put up my dream dress, or I put up several of them, and one of them happens to be the dress that she just made. So I'm like, I want it. I'm just gonna make another one and we're gonna twin. It'll be great.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We should do a photo shoot. I'll come to Amsterdam and we'll do a photo shoot over beautiful canals and it will be lovely.
Like floating over beautiful canals?
No.
Or like a bridge on a boat?
Yeah, bridges and boats for sure.
Okay.
All of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
I feel like
if you can figure out the whole floating thing, I'm down to do that too. Like, yeah, let's do it.
You can do like, you know, the layers and put
Composite.
yourself floating. If you take the pictures, you can put yourself anywhere.
Okay, so if this happens, it'll happen. I will composite us the most egregious Photoshop horribleness possible, and then I will post that to the Costuming in Color Instagram account. It'll be great.
Okay, so it sounds like in the future she might have a different answer based on what you guys are going to do, but I'm going to ask the question based on right now. Okay. What is the silliest thing that has ever happened to you at an event?
Oh, there was this event where we were actually asked to be sort of part of the royal family of the event, and they put us up in a hotel, so we were not staying at the on-site sleeping quarters. So the evening before the event, they had a ball for all the volunteers, all the people that were working the event the next day. And they because I don't know, it was complicated, but anyway, they put us up in the castle itself. They had a room for us where we could change for us that were a part of the royal family. So the ball ended, we went upstairs to change, and then they sort of forgot that they gave us a room upstairs to dress, because then when we came out of the room, it was all pitch black and the fire alarm went off.
Oh my God.
In the middle of the night. So yeah, they forgot about us and they just locked up and left.
How long were you in that room?
I don't think it was very long. It was like he was still on the grounds. But I think, yeah, I don't know. It might have, in my memory, it probably lasted longer than it actually was, but I think maybe in 5 minutes or so he ran because he heard the fire alarm come on. So he came running back to the castle to open the door for us. But yeah, we were just like, I think it was just the two of us, and like it was pitch black in the middle of a castle. There was no one around.
Wow.
And fire alarm going off.
Like they shut everything down in the small amount of time you were in that room and just booked it. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I mean, luckily enough, he was still like on the castle grounds and not in his car on his way home.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, but I think I don't know if the fire department actually showed up eventually. I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah.
So do you have a sentimental or nostalgic costuming memory to share?
We've done a couple of historical balls before this, but this was like the big one from the big historical dance association in France. And this was their annual their annual ball, and that was the first time when a friend of mine, he took me out for a waltz, and that felt literally like I was dancing on a cloud. Like, do you know that scene is it Sleeping Beauty with Aurora when she at like in the end with Philip is like waltzing, but then they are actually like dancing on the clouds? Like it felt like that.
Oh, that's really sweet. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
So I want to talk more about that, but I don't really know what to ask. That sounds like an amazing experience. And I feel like that is exactly how a waltz is supposed to feel. Like if you're doing it properly, it's supposed to feel almost like you are.
Well, I think for me, it was finding the right, this is going to sound really bad to other dance partners I've had. I'm so sorry. But yeah, like with dance partners is also like finding the right match and being on the same wavelength, I think, of like, because sometimes you do a dance and where you rotate during the song and you constantly have different partners, and like the difference in waltzing, you would think, it's a set step, but so many people do it differently or have a different kind of rhythm or listen to the music differently. And with him, it was just like everything connected and fell into place. And like he also made sure like he pulled me in. Like sometimes they just have their like the hand resting in the other hand, but he just like really like whoosh. So we were like connecting and like floating over that dance floor. And yeah, I still get like warm and fuzzy feelings when I think about that moment.
That's lovely.
Is his name Frank?
Yep.
Does he know?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know it to that extent because he's a much more experienced dancer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we still dance whenever we're at the same event. We definitely dance a few times. Luckily, it was caught on video, so I can relive that moment many times.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Well, if we can find any video of that, we will insert it below for you. And if we don't find video, you'll just have to use your own imagination, people.
We'll just put a Disney clip in. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's the same.
So what costuming groups or organizations are you in?
None.
You do all this on your own?
Yeah. But basically, I don't know, because I know in America you have the SDA? The SDA. As far as I know, we don't really have groups like they really have tiny groups, I think, but more like specific, like the Roman times or like
we have those too.
Yeah, but I'm not a part of that. There are some bigger Regency societies or groups.
You just said you were doing dancing stuff with a dancing group.
Yeah, but those are in France.
That's okay. You can still be in that group.
Well, so I think for that year we had to sign up, so we actually were a member of that society. But that was only for 1 year. But we are not part of any group or society. We just have friends, and we just like to hang out with friends, and that's what we do.
I love that. So it makes me feel not so bad, because I don't live in a place like the Bay Area where there's like the costuming guild there. And I don't live out, on the East Coast where they have these groups of people who get together and do like living history. So I've always felt like, oh, this is abnormal, and I need a group to really do stuff. So you're kind of someone I can look up to, because I've seen your work, and to be, to do that kind of on your own and just find events to go to. That's pretty much what I'll be doing. So
yeah, I mean, I don't really see any if there are like more benefits of being part of a, I don't know, I've never experienced it. I don't think I can compare it. But basically, yeah, we have our social groups, and we meet them at these events as they go to those events as well. I do try to organize events here. We've organized the costume market, which is basically like a secondhand market for anything costume related, a flea market. And we were supposed to have our first historical ball in 2020, but we all know what happened with that. So yeah, that's postponed until we can.
There are advantages to being in a guild. Like my guild just put out their calendar for next year, so like I know that there's a specific set of events, and it gives you something to like sew to. Like there's a deadline for you if you want to attend those. That being said, for the last 8-9 years, I have not attended a single event on my own guild, and I've only done things with friends randomly. Yeah, so like just because you're in a guild doesn't mean that stops, or that's not actually the primary way that you go to events. For sure, it just gives you like next year's guild list is actually awesome, so I might go to more events next year.
So I think I do that similarly, but just personally. We have like most of the events that we go to are annually anyway. So we have sort of our annual calendar, and we know, because most of the events are held at this during the same time of year. So we basically know, oh, next year's this. So we have our own events calendar, I guess, from all the events that we go to. We have
less annual events in America. I think there's not a lot. I mean, there's like Costume College, but that's not the same thing. But there's less. We don't have there are historical balls, but they're very rare actually, and they're not. If they do exist, they're not usually annual. So they're just
most of the stuff here, which I like. Yeah, actually, because it's sort of, I don't know, it's sort of a routine, I guess, and in advance, what your deadline is gonna be.
Yeah. What cons or events do you recommend?
Specifically for the Netherlands, I would recommend Elfia and Castlefest, which are the three. Elfia is held 2 times a year, which are the 3 big Ren fairs here in the Netherlands. And you can dress up any way you like, or just, as we call it, come in civilian, come as a civilian. Otherwise, France has multiple associations. One of them is Carnet de Balls, which is literally translates to the ball book. And they are, I think, the biggest one, and they organize lots of events, also demos and stuff. And for the UK, I can highly recommend Isabella from Prior Tire's events. They are awesome, and it's not just, usually it's like a whole event or like a whole weekend almost. It's not just a ball. She'll usually also make sure that like there's stuff to do like the morning after or the afternoon before or stuff like that. So I can highly recommend her events in the UK.
What's your entertainment routine for sewing? Do you listen to shows or songs, or what do you do?
I can't stand silence, even though I don't like loud noises or something, but it's either my playlist on Spotify, which is either rock, musicals, or like period drama soundtracks. Recently, I also got into like ambience videos on YouTube, like Halloween on Main Street USA or the Ravenclaw Common Room.
Ravenclaw Common Room is really great. I can vouch for that one.
Or I binge watch like shows I've seen, like Supernatural or Big Bang Theory or Disney movies. It basically, if it's anything visually, it has to be something I've watched more than once before.
Yeah, that makes sense. Lots of people are like that. I just want to be able to watch the movie in your head while you're listening to the things happening. Yeah.
I finally figured out, like, that must be what people are doing. They're watching movies that they have seen a million times, and so it's just listening. So I could understand that. And I just typed in Ravenclaw Common Room. So this is on Spotify, or is it the YouTube one?
YouTube. It's from Ambience World, I think. Ambience World.
It came right up. So I'm gonna listen to that later. Even though
they have all the common rooms, they also have like the Great Hall and a couple other places that you can go to in Hogwarts.
Like the potions classroom, Great Hall, like any place inside the Hogwarts. Even like Diagon Alley or like Hogsmeade, I think they have.
And it's just like noise, but comforting noise. Like the Gryffindor common room is also, I think, raining. And there's like owls hooting and like the fire's cracking. It's like watching Log. Do you watch Log at Christmas time?
I don't know
what I'm talking about. Okay, so me and my friends watch this thing called Log, and you can find them on YouTube. You can find them on like any streaming service that you watch on TV, and it is literally a fireplace with a log on fire, and you put it on your TV, and it makes your TV look like a fireplace. But I'm a connoisseur of log, and there are hundreds of different log videos. There's ones with like Santa comes in and takes a cookie and leaves a gift and then walks out. There's ones where guys like come in and stoke the log. There's ones that are like 10 hours long. There's one, like, but you can tell it's on a loop. There's other ones you can't tell that are on a loop. Those are the best ones. So like log is it's basically log though.
Basically any fireplace video version is my go-to screensaver.
Yeah. I mean, even in the middle of the summer, I'll watch Log. I like Log.
Oh yeah. Like if I'm working and I put Spotify on, then I also put on a fireplace video as the screensaver.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so who inspires you?
I don't think I'm necessarily inspired by persons. Like creatively inspired. It's more like whatever emotional reaction I have to certain things, like a color palette or a silhouette, or I don't know. I don't think I get inspired by people.
Okay.
Is that weird?
No.
So my puppy really wants to be part of this. You hear her? She really wants to be part of this show. She's like, pay attention to me. Go away. Okay, so my next question is about gratitude. Who or what are you grateful for?
It's gonna sound really cheesy. My parents and my partner. I'm super grateful that I can share this hobby / passion in costuming with him. And he's also my emotional support human.
Nikki is one of the rare people that has like a partner that also costumes.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often.
That's how we met. We met at Elfia or through Elfia. So yeah.
Melchior is awesome. I really dig him.
Elfia about elves?
No, Elfia is one of the big Ren fairs here. It used to be the Elf Fantasy Fair, but everyone just called it Elfia or the Elf. And I think they sort of rebranded and now it's officially called Elfia. But yeah, the mascot is an elf. Sort of looks like Gollum, but then like elf-like.
Oh, Okay. Like not a Christmas elf.
No, more like a cute version of Gollum, like not the
Okay.
gross, greasy.
A European elf. Yeah. All right. All right. If you could give new customers one piece of advice, what would it be?
Do and make whatever makes you happy in whatever way you want to do it. And yeah, don't get intimidated or put off by experienced costumers because they've been where you are before. Like we all start from scratch, or we start from some point, you know, you don't become a experienced costumer overnight. And also don't be intimidated by already established or existing groups or communities, because there's always room for more souls. And yeah, just do your thing and try to reach out to people, I guess.
Totally.
Says the weird introvert person.
Almost all customers are introverts. I'm a weirdo. I'm like a rarity. So yeah, I think you're the norm. Yeah,
I suppose.
Well, if you have a closing message on inclusion or equity that you'd like to send out, now's the time.
I already touched on this earlier, but yeah, be kind to one another, communicate, respect each other, and yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to people, because if you just gonna look at a distance and assume things, you will never. Okay, that sounds weird. Sorry.
I'm like, what coded message is she leaving?
No,
do it.
I'm not.
Do it. Okay.
I don't find that is weird, because I know with neurodivergent people like myself, a lot of people do assume that I am whatever. Like they fill in the blank because they don't have enough information. So I was following what you were putting down. I'm like, don't just assume I'm stuck up or I think I'm better than you. Talk to me, because I probably really want to know you. I just don't know how.
100%. And also, everybody else is as nervous as you are. And so they're acting weird because they're nervous. They're not acting weird because they don't like you.
Yeah. That.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Nikki. It was lovely to get to know you a bit better today. Thank you also to our viewers for joining us today. We will leave a list of Nikki's information down below for you to follow her on all of her platforms.
Please do give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and if you have a costumer of color that you think we should be interviewing, use the form in the description box below to tell us about them. Make sure to leave a little love for Nikki in the comments below. It was great having you here. Stay safe out there and take care of each other.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.